Hello and welcome to our session. We're so happy to have Dirce Eduardo Hernandez today, and we are here to talk about certifications. And I'll just get that on the screen. So, Certify with Purpose, a career journey through the cybersecurity credential landscape. I'm excited about this. I'm sure there's just so much to cover. So, thank you for that. Just as we wrap out our day, we've had a full day of sessions. Dirce joined us this morning for our kickoff panel on professionals in practice. And it's been an amazing day. For many people, you've come to this through the Luma registration, which is in the comments. And through that Luma registration, you will get access to a resource document where we've already kind of preloaded it with resources. And then you all, as the audience, are invited to add your own resources. And the resources that were mentioned throughout the day will also be updated and included there. So lots for you to kind of get a running start with. And then we will be back on July 26th for our next Cybersecurity Career Day, or our Cyber Connect, I will put it, because this has been amazing. We've gotten such great feedback from all of our speakers and our audience members that we're onto something and we should keep going. So with that, again, thank you all. Check the description. And if you've missed any of the sessions, they're all on replay. So go check them out. And with that, Dirce, I'm going to hand it over to you, but not first without thanking my co-host. Thank you, Francesca. You've done such an amazing job here. And so really, I'm so pleased to be working with you and that this all came together from our role as nice cybersecurity career ambassadors. And that's actually how we met Dirce. So Dirce, I will leave it to you to give us a little bit more about the nice cybersecurity career community of interest and ambassador program.
Yes, thank you. First of all, first and foremost, thank you, Felipa, Francesca, GeoCyber Systems, and the NIST Cybersecurity Ambassadors Program for making this day event a reality. So I really appreciate the engagement, the partnership, and it's a great organization. It's free for anyone to join, to come in, to give their 2 cents of their experiences within the cybersecurity firm and place to get more cybersecurity warriors out there. We need people in the field. We need people in the profession. So I just wanted to start the conversation by thanking the team here to make this a reality. Looking forward for future events. Looking forward for partnerships. The NIST Cybersecurity Career Ambassadors is having their yearly conference next year in Philadelphia, so it's going to be a really good thing to look forward to. And with that, I just want to tell the team thank you, and we can start. Appreciate it. So my name is Dirce Hernandez. I currently serve as a manager in security risk management for a Fortune 500 healthcare organization. I have nearly 18 years of experience spanning the financial, healthcare, higher ed, and technology sectors. With that comes a lot of wide range of cybersecurity challenges. Today, I want to walk you through a little bit of my professional journey and how I strategically pursued certifications to help me shape my career trajectory and empower me to live with purpose in the cybersecurity field. So I started my career around 2007. I graduated with a bachelor's in 2005 from Lady University. So, it's definitely changed. It took me a year and a half, almost 2 years to find a job in within information security. But I got the job, right? And not all of us are as lucky to start right out of the gate with a job in InfoSec. I definitely advocate for looking at jobs within IT, help desk, anything you can get your hands on to get your foot in the door in an organization and pivot to cybersecurity roles. In regards to certification, currently in my role, certifications that I have under my belt, which are include ISACA certifications such as CISA, CRISC, CIPSI, CISM, are basically showing that we're driving risk management programs aligned with frameworks, for example, like the NIST framework and regulations like the NYDFS cybersecurity regulation as an example. So in regards to my personal journey, I followed the strategic learning path. I started my career in 2007. I wasn't even looking at a certification until probably 2011, 2012, when I graduated with my master's around that time. I had been working 5 years at that point in the space, so I started looking at SAN certifications and started looking at the CISSP, which is basically the flagship security certification in our space. But things didn't play out and didn't happen as I wanted them to, right? I mean, we have to face adversity, face challenges, and it's important to note that when you study for an exam and you do not pass, it's demoralizing, but you cannot let that stop you. You have to continue to learn, continue to study, change the approach, to understand what you could do to better your chances of passing it the next time around. So that's kind of the path that I followed. Usually ISACA, the certifications, the first one that I got was in 2017. It was a CISA, Certified for Information Security Auditors from ISACA. It provided a real-world practical progression that maps closely to real-world cybersecurity functions, governance, audit, risk, and privacy. Each certification involves formal documentation. I definitely suggest you buy the material from the certification body. The way I like to say it, and I know it's definitely not the most ideal, but it's usually the way I see it is: do you want to be right or do you want to be certified? What does that mean? Some certification bodies have different nuances in their tailoring of the certification material, that if you've been a practitioner for years, you might not necessarily 100% agree with the questions and the answers, but you need to understand that you have to put yourself from that governing body's perspective as you look at the exam, right? So do you want to be right? Do you want to be certified? Sometimes they're right there with each other, the same, and that's usually the majority of the questions, but sometimes that's not the case all the time. So look at the question and answer databases, subscribe to that, purchase the manuals. Anything that's centric from the organizational body providing the certification is the best materials I would definitely suggest. Obviously, there's lots of third-party materials from CyberArray, Skillsoft, other things on YouTube that would help people pass the exams, but I usually like to focus on those first and foremost before looking at any other sources. So reinforce certification knowledge by directly applying the concepts to the environment. Actually, your real world operational experience, leading risk assessments, if you're doing that work, looking at policies, authoring policies, and improving compliance metrics would also help. But like I said, at the same time, it's a double-edged sword, right? You have to kind of look at from the certification exam you're evaluating to understand, do you want to be right? Do you want to be certified? So I like to say that all the time because it's important. So some of the recommendations for new and advancing professionals, right? Like I think it's been the caveat, the big theme here for today. Understand what area cybersecurity excites you the most, right? So GRC, blue team, red team, offensive security, privacy. Once you have that particular line of sight in regards to the area that you feel most aligned to, then you can pursue those credentials to build that credibility, right? So, for example, CISA for audit and compliance and security, the CISA, Security Plus for those that want to do technical, ground foundational security work, Security Plus, CISA. I heard CISA in a call earlier. Those are really good for that. And use the frameworks, not just studying for the test, but applying what you learn. People get lost in translation, lost in the sauce, like we like to say, about all these different things happening when it comes to certifications, questioning, but you're not really applying what you're learning as you're going through that experience of studying for a certification. Um, so leverage community platforms like the ISACA, local ISACA chapters, LinkedIn groups, and mentorship programs whenever possible to talk to those folks that have those certifications already under their belt, to ask their experience, ask how it went for them, how was their experience studying for that particular certification that you're studying for or aligning to, and get their takes and use that to your advantage. Like I said, focus on certifications that align with your current or desired role rather than collecting credentials without strategic intent. I mean, you can have all these letters next to your name, but at the end of the day, you didn't really learn anything from that, from all those certifications and all those exams. You're not really making the most effective and efficient time and leverage of those certifications that you can if you actually put that from an strategic intent perspective to learn what is actually the certification was trying to teach you to begin with. Create a learning plan and revisit it annually based on your career as it evolves, right? I mean, you might start in the red team, blue team, and then eventually roll off to GRC. So maybe GRC centric certifications might make the most sense where you're at currently in your career field as they were when you first started. So, it's good to kind of take a step back and understand where you're at in your career to maybe align to those initiatives and certifications that would align for, in your current state to better your security and your security career posture as well. Certifications will continually evolve to cover areas like AI risk, quantum computing, privacy enhancing technologies. I'm actually in the beta phase for my SACA from the first identified AI security centric certification. It's called the AAISM. So I'm studying the beta for now for that. It's the first 300 folks that signed up for that, and hopefully we'll be one of the first cohorts to actually have that AI security certification to just show that we're advancing the profession. We're moving this forward, and learning, right? It's that learning doesn't stop. If you feel you're in a field that you don't want to continue to be continuously learning, you're in the wrong profession, because where things are happening every day, things are changing every day. So it's important to understand that you're in a place where lifelong learning is essential. That every new rule, regulation, or breach is going to teach you something different. That's not always going to be in a textbook, right? If you're in the classroom, let's face it, a lot of the textbooks that we're using in our classrooms are with material from years ago, if not decades ago. So it's important to understand what's actually happening now, to have that depth and breadth of security experience and engaging and operationalizing through a certification, if that's what you're looking at in your career and in your moment in time. Purposeful certification empowers us not just to get hired, but to lead, mentor, and protect the systems that and people that rely on us. Right, like I mentioned, you got to look at the bigger picture. Just don't focus on the certification. Of course, we want to pass. Of course, you want to get that credential, but you have to kind of really think about certifications as a holistic approach, not just targeted. Okay, let me go test something and pass something, and that will be that. Right, it's really important that you have to realize that there's nuances to that. Applying it to your program. Look at your improvement performance plans. Look at your talk to your leadership teams, to your managers, to see if that certification makes sense in the role that you're looking at, or if you are pivoting to another role within, let's say, from security to privacy, maybe looking at privacy certifications to get your feet wet in that space. But you have to have those conversations with your leadership. You have to understand, what's going to make the most sense and the most, effective time of your money and your time, which is the most delicate uh, area that we have, time. So in conclusion, right, before we take all these questions, certifying with a purpose has transformed my career, enabling me to contribute meaningfully across multiple sectors, help build resilient programs, and mentor the next generation of cybersecurity professionals. Whether you're starting your career now or advancing into a leadership role, be intentional about the knowledge you gain through the certifications you're evaluating and studying for, the certifications you're pursuing, and the impact you want to make. So that's kind of my background, right? Like I said, I have the CISA, the CISM, CRISC, CIPSI. I'm looking at that advanced AI certification from ISACA that it's in beta phase right now for testing. But like I said, with all that comes a lot of caveats with understanding how you can apply it to your role, current state, how you can apply it to future roles, or future things that you're interested in as you move forward in your career journey. But yeah, that's kind of my background. That's the things that I dealt with. But if you think about it, I started my career in 2007. My first certification didn't come to 10 years later. Do I recommend that? No. Like I said, everyone has a different path. Everyone does different things differently. And the game's changed, right? The game's changed when I started my career to people that are just starting the career now. So I definitely would probably think of looking at a certification like a CC right out of the gate if that was available back in 2007 when I started. So it's just one of those things to just, understand the environment, understand the sectors and the verticals you're looking at to make the most detailed decisions on what certifications you're going to be assessing. And with that, I can bring back the moderator so we can kind of field some questions and go from there. Thank you. I see a question. Oh, how long does the average certificate last before renewing? It depends on the certification body. I believe like the ISACA certification cycle every 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. So you have to continuously get continuing education credit, CPEs, to keep it active. So I definitely, that makes you stay engaged within, your education knowledge, like the continuous learning aspect of it. Because if you don't submit those and they can audit the certification within a certain time frame, if you cannot provide justification and validation of those continuous education credits, you might lose your certification. You might have to retake the exam. So the way I see it is like that one time you took the exam was hard enough. Why put yourself in a position to having to retake the exam for that certification if you want to keep it? Um, yes. Do you believe? Let's see. How much does a certification cost when you have to renew? Like I said, it's one of those things depending on certification body. The amount of money, the amount of what is the expense would depend on how many certifications you have with that governing body. If you only have one, do you have multiple? So that's on a case by case basis, but there's money involved. I mean, it is expensive. It can get expensive, and that's why there's a lot of different theories or mindsets about certifications about being a business, and it is a business, but at the same time that business is in the business of helping you advance your career. So you kind of have to take both and kind of evaluate them, balance them out to make the most effective use for you as you continue your journey. Okay. What are some of the most popular certifications in the early cybersecurity student? Okay, like I mentioned, the CC, the ISC squared TC, Certified in Cybersecurity. It was originally tailored for high school students that are going into the field of cybersecurity, studying cybersecurity programs in academia. So that's definitely a good one to start with. Security Plus, like I mentioned earlier, set the groundwork from a technical perspective. And then obviously, if you're going to go into the GRC side of it, look at CISA, but kind of get your feet wet a couple years in the field doing the work before actually looking at that one. That's what I did. Like I said, it literally took me 10 years as I started my work to actually get my first certification, which was the CISA. I'm starting off my journey in cybersecurity. What are the best ways to connect and get mentorship? Um, you know, Connect with your local ISACA chapters, your local ISC Square chapters. Connect on LinkedIn. There's communities of interest. Raíces Cyber, if you're in the, if you're of Latin American descent, Mexican American, like I am, first generation college graduate. Spanish was my first language. It was not English, right? So Raíces Cyber, Cyber Insecurity with Neil Bridges, great organizations, great places to network, to meet people, to ask for mentorship, to ask for resume reviews, get help, learn about jobs, learn about all the things that are happening within cyber. So that's definitely a good starting place right there. So how can you have an internship, a mentor? Reach out. Like I said, probably reach out to your local ISACA chapters. They have student membership fees, so it's really meant to be cheaper than most advanced professional membership dues. And then once you start that, you can see if they have a mentorship program already embedded within the ISACA chapters, to see if you can get plugged in. Evaluate internships, Google's internships for those organizations. Internships are interesting. I didn't have one when I started my career, and I didn't have one when I went to school either. So I understand that now internships are predominant in the environment. It's really good to get to get an internship in this space. A lot of organizations have a particular time frame that they issue out the internships. So some are year round, but some are bounded by time. So time might be the timing might be an issue, but it doesn't cost anything for you to search and keep your options open, right? There's internships depending on the vertical and the sector you want to work in. Healthcare, finance, state government, you name it. There's internships all over the map. Do you believe having a variety of certifications on a resume have one standout in selection process? Um, that's a good question. Like I mentioned, they have to make sense, right? I mean, if you're applying to offensive security certification, role, I would like to see OSCP. I probably would like to see like GCIH, more offensive security certifications. But if they're not there, and you're not going to be able to have that standout from that process, right, from that perspective. And I think Jeff Wright, Jeff Rich mentioned it earlier this morning. Look at certifications that are going to be tailored to the job, focus on those, and that's going to give you a leg up of especially if it's a minimum viable requirement, right, a minimum requirement on the job description that you need to have that certification. Some job requirements give you the option to, they'll assess it, they'll give you a chance, if they do give you the role, for you to get that certification within a year or 6 months, depending on the timing. But that's a little bit of a pressure, right? Because the clock starts ticking, and you really have to, you know, um, think about making sure that you need to do what you need to do to pass it at that point. So I definitely would not recommend putting yourself in that spot, but it is a possibility depending on the job, depending on the situation. Um, but it's better to come prepared than not come prepared at all, right? So yes. How would you say GRC might be a good entry level position? Yeah, I mean, it's the reason everyone kind of parallels GRC with entry level is because it's not that technical or that technical centric, but you still need to know the foundations, know the basics. Everyone, all the leaders that I know in this space, from application security leaders, offensive security leaders, cyber threat, operators, they want to talk to someone that can understand the basics. If you're in GRC and cannot understand what a DLP is, what a rule is, what a firewall rule is, what a alert is, if you're gonna have a deer in a headlights look when they ask you that, you're not gonna get that buy-in. You're not gonna get that rapport with those cybersecurity teams on the offensive side. So it's good to have an entry level component to the GRC, but you still need to know the foundational concepts and background to come in to an organization. That's how it works. You mentioned continuing education. How does it overlap for all the certification bodies? Does public speaking and conferences count, or is it mostly lab? No, they all count. So if like ISACA has like a huge drop down of different options that can give you CPEs, from speaking opportunities, from volunteer opportunities, labs as well. In ISACA build training will also give you training hours as well. Third party training will also give you hours of. So yeah, there's a lot of different things you can take advantage of. So it's definitely not just labs. There's a lot of different things you can do to get continuing education credits in place. That was a lot of questions.
There it was, but that's not. Hold on. Get you on screen. There we are. Okay, we're back. Hello. That was amazing. That was quick fire. We're getting tons of. I'll just put these on the screen real quick. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So awesome. Excellent. I turn it over to Francesca.
Thank you so much for all of you that were being here for this Saturday and spend the Saturday with us. We're gonna do this every last Saturday of the month, and hopefully we see you as a speaker again, Dirce. That was amazing.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, and we have all the resources for today in the Luma. So if somebody wants to see us again in this constellation, we are at the NICE Cybersecurity Ambassador Interest Meeting on July 11th. So hopefully we see you there. There's an interest form that I dropped in the Luma. So hopefully I see a few of you there. And thank you so much, Dirce, for coming in again for this focused session. And yeah, is there any other question? Is there a last minute question from the audience, or should we wrap it up?
I just want to say, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll be more than happy to, answer any questions you might have offline, and continue to be an advocate, and continue to move the needle forward for this profession that we need a lot of people to join. So thank you.
Great. Philippa, do you have anything else to add? Are you on mute?
She's on mute.
Mute.
I was putting the LinkedIn in the chat, so it's there. So we just ask everybody, if you like this content, please like, subscribe, so we can continue on this journey. And just so happy to have you all here. It's been a marathon. We've actually been straight for 6 hours since this morning. And just huge thank you to everybody. And Francesca, just such an amazing job putting this together. And so grateful to NICE and the Cybersecurity Career Ambassadors Program for connecting us and so many of the other speakers.
Thank you.
So thanks, everybody, and we will see you all next time. Join us again on July 26th, and perhaps we'll see some of you at the NICE meeting coming up very soon.
And quickly, if you want to be a speaker, please fill out the form. We want to see you speak, please.
All right, and just we're happy to have everybody, and I'm just sharing our thanks, because we've had some people who've been here with us all day, so we love that. Thank you, everybody. And with that, we'll sign off. Take care.
Have a nice weekend. Bye. Thank you.